So welcome, everybody. Just go into a little more detail about Apple Mail. Now, we have already shown you the basics of Apple Mail. We've shown you mailboxes, the universal inbox, smart mailboxes, and we've shown you how to read a message. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure we showed you message threads, but I don't believe we showed you replying or anything like that. And today we're going to send a message. The process of sending and the process of replying are exactly the same, except in one case you choose compose and in the other case you choose reply. But I mean, as far as what you're editing, how you do everything, it's going to be one and the same. So we'll do it once and it'll cover both things. Some things we're not going to do in this.
Before you go into that, Matt, I wanted to point out, it's a good thing I listen to recordings because you always leave a few little tidbits, and not nothing major, but you just left one little tidbit out that I would have mentioned. When you were going through your mailbox accounts, I wanted to point out that you had yours that was called professional mail, one was called Google and stuff like that. You are actually able to rename your accounts to identify them better. Like, for instance, I have two iCloud accounts because I use one for junk and one for other stuff. Anyway, I'm able to rename one personal iCloud and the other one, just iCloud. And I have two Gmail accounts because me and my wife share one, and I have one like that just for YouTube pages. So I call one personal Gmail and the other one other Gmail. So you are able to rename your email accounts that are on your phone so you can identify with them better.
And you're not only able to rename them, but you can actually do it when you're initially setting them up. Like when you go into settings and you add a new mail account, it'll ask for your name, which is, how you want your name to appear when people see a message from you. And I do believe it's been my experience that if a person has you in their contacts, however they have you will override what you put as the display name. But that display name is there for people who don't have you in their contacts. That's at least what it seems like to me. Cliff can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I've seen on that. And
that's exactly right, because I've sent myself mail just to test that. And
right.
It'll always say my full name. I'm like, why am I showing me my full name? But then I'll send it to another account where I don't have, my contact listed, and it will show the display name that I selected. So
right. So you enter a display name, you enter your email address, and you enter your password. And then there's this box that says description. And that's where you can put that account name that makes it more relevant or more personal to you if you want to change it. So when we are covering this today, we're going to show you the basics of composing or replying to a message. And then there are some things we're not going to cover in this class that we feel are more advanced things that we will teach in a cafe. One of those things I know some of you are interested in is the mail sorting. And Trainer Cliff has run an excellent mail sorting workshop before. He's going to do it again, I believe, as a cafe here. And what that's going to allow you to do is to become really, really advanced in just how your mail is sorted. So we've just barely even scratched the surface by showing you smart mailboxes, right? So you can organize your mail. You can look at individual accounts, or you can look at all sent messages, all unread messages, all messages with attachments, all these different smart mailboxes. But some people want to take that even further, creating their own mailboxes, which is fine. And that's actually very easy to do. I mentioned to you on Wednesday where that is done, though we didn't actually do it. You just go to your list of mailboxes, you hit the edit button at the bottom, and then you choose add mailbox or new mailbox. And it's easy to add mailboxes and manually move messages into those mailboxes. So, if you get an email from, Epicurious, you can move it into a recipes mailbox if you have one. Or if you get an email from, TTJ or Stir It Up or Apple or, any Best Buy, something like that, you can move it into your, tech mailbox if you wanted to, something of that nature. So you can manually move mail into different mailboxes. But what Trainer Cliff's going to show in the mail sorting workshop is that it's also possible to create advanced mail rules that when a message is received, it automatically skips the inbox if you so choose and goes directly to one of the mailboxes that you have created. And you can create rules based on specific address, based on keywords in the subject line, all sorts of different options. But that must be done on the website for the mail provider. Now, we know how to do it. He knows how to do it in iCloud, in Gmail, and he'll show you that. And in most others, because it's pretty similar, but it's going to vary depending on who the mail provider is specifically. So that is this sort of automatic sorting and advanced mail rules. That's something for a separate cafe. Be on the lookout for that if it is something you are interested in.
Mailboxes, back button.
As is usually the case for me, I'm in my universal inbox.
All inboxes, heading.
And I want to show you that if you want to, we showed you about, reading through some messages. If there's one you want to delete, you don't even need to open it up. You can use the rotor right here in the list of messages.
Messages, unread, Zoom.
There's a message telling me somebody joined the Zoom meeting. I have rotor actions if I just swipe up or down with one finger. And if I swipe up, the first option
delete
is actually to delete. I also have options like
drag item, more, flag, mark as read, activate, delete.
And of course, more has a lot of things under it too. So we're just going to go ahead and delete this one to give you that example.
Deleted, unread, CV.
Okay, when a message is opened, if we double tap on it,
select message header. This message.
And we are on the body of the message here.
Message content.
We also have rotor.
Trash, flag, reply, unread, activate, default.
You see that? But there's even more options. And I did show you this, I believe, but I'll just do it again as a quick review. There is a button at the bottom right here.
Toolbar, compose button.
Just to the left of the compose button.
Hold to bring up drafts.
All right, yep, just to the left of the compose button.
More actions button.
And it's called more actions. And it's going to have more things in it than just your rotor. So I always prefer to do it this way.
More actions.
Let's look at what we have.
CVS act close button. Reply all, forward, trash message, flag, mark as unread, move message, archive message, move to junk, mute, notify me, print.
Look at all those options. And so that's pretty, self-explanatory. I think you now see how to move a message to another mailbox because you have the move message option there. And you can print, you can reply all, forward. There's a lot of great options here.
Print, CVS extra close button.
Let's go back.
Message content, all inboxes, all inbox.
Okay. All right. So it's time we compose a new message. And what I'll do is, I even think we showed you on Wednesday how to view attachments. I do remember us doing that as well. At the bottom right of the screen here is the compose button.
Toolbar, compose button. Double tap and hold to bring up drafts.
Okay, we're not going to bring up drafts, but we're going to...
Text field is editing, character mode, insertion point at start.
So I'm in the to field. Just like with the messages app, there is
add contact button.
An add contact button just to the right of the edit field that allows us to access our contacts directly and pick one. But it's also possible, just like in messages, to start typing the first few letters and then looking above the keyboard. And the nice part about that is that's going to include not only your contacts, it's also going to include people who have emailed you, who you have replied to, people that are maybe Siri suggestions based upon, somebody telling you in a message, my email address is whatever, so there are all sorts of results that will come up here, even groups based upon people you've created. Like if you, for example, send an email, if I were to send an email to both trainer Cliff and trainer Sarah, and if I were to then begin the next time typing KL, I would still see Cliff's search result, but I would also see Cliff and Sarah as a group. So it is very nice to do it that way. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go ahead and do it that way. And we will go ahead and just use Cliff, and maybe we'll go ahead and do Sarah also, because what I want to show you is how easy it is to add multiple recipients. You don't have to worry about commas or any other kinds of things. You can just keep typing, and if I have to type an entire email address, that's okay too. At that point, I could put in a full email address, but I'm not even going to have to here because I have them in my contacts. So let's just start typing. Okay, I typed KLI, and if I look above the keyboard here, here's the edit.
New message, send, to text field is editing, clay, character mode, insertion.
Now, if we swipe to the right,
add contact button, results, Cliff Miller,
and if and that's an old email address for him that he doesn't even use anymore.
Expand options button.
But I have other options
available.
If I click on expand options, if I double tap that, it's going to give me other ways to get in touch with him.
Clifton Antonio Miller Sr.
And there's the actual there's the actual contact I have for him. So I will just use that one. I don't know which email address it's going to, but I'm sure it's going to work because it's his current contact card.
Clifton Antonio subject text field.
And if I really wanted to, I could have let it read that. And if I didn't like the one it was picking, I could swipe to the right, expand the chevron there, click on the chevron to expand the options, and basically pick from any of the email addresses that I have for him. I didn't do that just because if it was one of his personal ones, I didn't want to let it read out loud for everybody. But, it would have been what I would have done normally. And then the same thing here, I'll start typing Sarah, and again, I won't let it read her actual email address, but,
S-A
and we'll,
R
now I will.
To text Clifton Antonio, add contact results, Sarah Gold, more info, Sarah Hurling, more, Sarah Potok, Q, results, Sarah Potok, message body, sent from my
Okay. And
M. at Sarah Potok, Clifton to text.
So I can see now.
Clifton Antonio Miller, Sarah Potok, add contact button.
They're both in there. They're both up there in recipients. So now we can see what else we have.
add contact button. MCC/BCC from.
Okay.
Double tap to show more info.
So what we have here, first we have, it lists for me the email address that it's going to send from. Okay, because again, I have more than one email address. If I don't want that, I can change it, and I'll show you how in a second. The next thing we have then is this CC, BCC, and from. Now what this is a sort of multi. There are three things there, okay? And if you want to access any of them, you have to click on that to expand it, okay? So we have CC, that's a carbon copy. That kind of is used for, I want to alert you that I'm sending this, but it's not really directly for you, but I want you to be aware that I've sent it, and so that's kind of what that's about. And then BCC, there are some times that it's very useful, and there are some times that I would recommend avoiding it. Okay, BCC stands for blind carbon copy, and it lets you basically send a message to multiple people without them knowing whom else you've sent it to. And the cases where it's very useful are pretty easy to see. If you need to send a message to a lot of people, such as we do to our list of students sometimes, you don't, as a student, you don't want to have to read through everybody's email address, right? That's just crazy. And maybe not everybody even wants you to have their email address. Just because they've registered for our class doesn't mean they want to give out their email address to every student. And so consequently, what we typically do, although I forgot to do it once, but what we typically do is we use the BCC field instead of the to field. That allows us to put everybody's email addresses in there without them having to see each other. So you can see where this would be practical. The nice thing about this is you have the option of doing all of these things, and it's the third one in there is the from. You can change the from address. So there are three things there: the BCC, the CC, the BCC, and the from. Where we are,
Sub CC/BCC from.
See, that's
Double tap to show more info.
That's hidden right now. And so if I'm happy with everything, I'm not going to CC or BCC anybody, and I'm going to leave the from address as what it already is. Good to go. We can just swipe to the right. But if we want to make any changes here, we double tap.
CC text field is editing. Character mode. Insertion point at start.
So it
Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
immediately brings us to the CC field, and just to the right of it,
BCC text field.
All right, the BCC.
Double tap to edit.
Then if we swipe to
access misspelled words.
the right again,
From button.
so then
Met subject from button. Do not
see, and as Cliff pointed out, it says from button. So here was BCC.
BCC text field. From button.
Double tap that. And we have all these email addresses that I have that I can choose from.
Selected. Space info@tech.net. Hide my email. Create a random address that forwards to your inbox button.
So we're going to even be able to do that. You can create a well. You just heard what it said, and we talked about that a little bit on Wednesday of last week also. So I'm just going to choose one, and I don't want to use Gmail. Okay, we're good.
CC subject text field. Double insertion point at end.
We'll put a subject in. All right. Now, here's what I want. If I go to
subject text field is editing test message content message body sent from my iPhone.
That
field.
I'm going to double tap.
Tap to edit. Message body text field is editing sent from my iPhone.
And the insertion point is at the beginning. You remember we can repeatedly double tap to toggle the position of the insertion point.
Insertion point show more items. Menu message body tech insertion point at end. Insertion point at start.
Okay. And what we have now is we can actually begin typing our message. All right. So I'll just just put the word hello.
Period. Hello.
And that's all I really need to type because this is just a test message. But I want to show you that we actually right now we can send this, but there are other things that we can do to our emails. There's a lot of powerful features here. So let's just swipe to the right and take a look at some of these.
Ampersand. Message content. Message body. Text field is editing. Hello. Cap hi. Lol. Oh.
I swipe to the right. There are 3 predictive or quick type suggestions. Let's keep going to the right.
Expand toolbar button. 1. Expand toolbar button.
And there's an expand toolbar option.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's look at this here.
2, 1, expand toolbar button.
We're going to double tap that because there's a lot of options in that toolbar.
Expand tool message content. Insert photo button.
So you have insert photo.
Take photo or video button.
You can hear these things. Take photo or video.
Text format button.
So we can format our text much like we did in Notes, for example.
Insert attachment button.
There's where you can insert an attachment directly into the message. You can also do that from the reverse perspective, like if I'm in the Photos app, the Pages app, the Notes app, and I want to mail something, the Voice Memos app, I can choose Share from within those apps, and then I can choose Mail. But here's how you do it right from Mail. When you say insert an attachment, it's going to bring you up to your iCloud Drive, basically, Files app, which we're going to learn about, I think, on Wednesday. And you'll be able to insert files.
Scan document button.
You can scan a document in.
Insert drawing button.
We can even draw.
1.
And that's it. All right, so there are lots of options there. And just to take this a step further, if I go to the text format option,
Insert it to text format. Text
just to show you,
sheet grabber button. Cancel button. Test heading. Subject for close button.
there's a close button to get rid of the formatting. If you don't want it, it's to the right of the message body.
Message content. Message body. Format. Heading. Close button.
All right, let's see what we have.
Bold button. Italic button. Underline button. Strike through button. Default font button. Decrease font size button. Increase font size button. Text color black button. Numbered list button. Bold list button. Left justified. Center justified. Right justified. Decrease quote level. Increase quote level. Indent left button. Indent right button. Indent right.
All right, lots and lots of choices here. And we don't have the styles that we have in Notes, but we actually do have something that Notes doesn't have. We can change the text color. So you'd want to select your text first, then choose to format. So when we're done, if we make our selection, we just close.
Number. Sheet grabber. Subject. Close button. Close.
All right, and we're back.
Message content. Message body. Text field is editing. Hello. Sent from my iPhone. Character mode. Insertion point between period and new line at the 7th position. Use the rotor to access misspelled words.
All right. Now, that little line there, sent from my iPhone, is the default signature. On an iPad, it will say sent from my iPad. Okay. But it's always the default signature, and you can change it if you want to change it. You can go into settings, go into mail, and then go to I think it says composing, and under composing you have these different options, and one of them is your signature, and again you can change that very easily. Now if you have multiple email accounts, you can actually choose to have the same signature for all, or you can do it on a per account basis. You can have a different signature for each mail account, and I've actually done that. My work email has a different signature than that, and it's stored in there by default. So if I pick to send from info@ttjtech.net, it's going to have the appropriate signature for that, or support at ttj. All of those have separate signatures. And if you would happen to want to even manually change the signature while you're composing a message, that's okay too, because it actually just appears as editable text. So you can even change it as you're going. So now all we're going to do is when you swipe back to the left, the top right of the screen, basically, the top right of your iPhone screen is where that send button is. You also have
test heading cancel button,
the cancel button,
sheet grabber button,
and that
double tap to dismiss the keyboard.
Right, that button will hide the keyboard. That sheet grabber is just a way to hide the keyboard, be able to see the message. If you double tap in the edit field again for subject or for message content, it should actually bring up the keyboard again. And we even
sheet grab cancel test heading.
Yep, we have the subject there listed at the top.
Send button.
We're just going to send. We'll just double tap on send.
Send. Mailboxes back button.
And, all right, so there you go. And that's how easy it was to send. Of course, Sarah and Cliff now probably have that message because I sent it to both of them. But that's how easy this is, but also how powerful it is. You can do rich editing. You can, bold different sections of your message using the text selection method that we already showed you a couple weeks ago. And of course, there is a search field, guys. I don't think we demonstrated it, but it's very easy to use. You double tap in the search field and type what you're looking for, and hit the bottom right, where the return key is. It says search. And you can find results based upon subject, upon sender, all those different kinds of things. It's interesting how many times I've had to do a search and the word appears in messages that I don't even expect it to be in, So searching, be very specific with your search terms if you're not narrowing things down as much as you'd like to when you try it the first time. Maybe change your strategy a little bit, be more specific, more words, We are going to be talking about rearranging apps and moving items on your device. This is something that we definitely need to cover. It's something we don't put early on in the course because I consider it to be a bit of a more advanced thing. But it is very possible to, okay, there we go. It's very possible to move items like icons on the home screen. You can create folders on the home screen and actually put your favorite apps into those folders. You can add widgets to the home screen, which are really awesome. And we've only talked about them very briefly. Let's see. How do we want to start this? I think the best way to approach this is to describe to you, first of all, that there is a mode that VoiceOver calls edit mode. And when you're in this edit mode, all of your home screen apps begin to jiggle visually. That shows you that they can be moved, they can be deleted, whatever the case may be. Now, how do we get into the this sort of jiggle mode, this edit mode? Well, there are a couple of ways to do it. My favorite way is to choose an app icon on the home screen and then long press it. In other words, double tap and hold, which will bring up a context menu, because there are many, many places in iOS where there are context menus. We talked about that before. And so when you double tap and hold on an app on your home screen, you're going to have the option to rearrange apps. You're going to have the option to remove the existing app that you long pressed. And you're even going to have the option to share the app. All right. You may also find that there are other options that are specific to certain apps. So let me give you an example here. If I go to my home screen and I long press on the Notes app icon, double tap and hold, I hear a little sound, and I'll do a screen share here shortly, but it pops up a context menu. And I have some very specific items like new note, new checklist, new photo, scan document. And then I have the options that I see with every app: edit home screen, remove app, and dismiss context menu. So if I want to remove the app, I choose that option, remove app. If I want to move and create folders or just rearrange the items on the home screen, I can choose edit home screen. Okay. That's going to put me into that edit mode where all the apps are jiggling. Another way to get into that edit mode is just to use the rotor. If I tap on any app icon here, there's stocks. If I swipe up or down, I hear edit mode. And then another swipe says activate default. So edit mode is the same thing. Edit mode is where we can easily rearrange apps on our home screen. Now, before we go any further, I want to talk about another part of the home screen that we did not really discuss, and that is the app library. The app library appears after all your other home screen pages. Every app that is installed on your device automatically goes to the app library. You don't have to use it. You can just, keep using the regular pages of your home screen. But this is another way to access apps. First of all, we will come back to the details about widgets, but it's important to know I have widgets on my
Dock, music, Siri suggestions, widget, stack, Mac rumors, FaceTime.
So right now it's showing a Siri suggestion. That will change automatically. But let's go to the very last page of apps that I have.
Page 1 of 6, page 2 of page 3 of page 4 of 6, page 5 of 6, page 6 of 6.
Now, what if I go one more page?
Showing app library.
Interesting. That brings up the app library. And what this does, as I said, is it's going to give you access to every app that you have. So if I start here at the top left,
app library, search field.
There is a search field.
App library, search field.
That is where I can search for any app that I want to search for by name, as long as it is actually installed on my device. Okay? This is not searching the App Store. It's just searching your device. If I go into that search field, you're also going to find something else that's really cool. It's an alphabetical listing of all of your apps, but I'm going to come back to that. Let's swipe to the right and see what's next.
Suggestions, music, photos, notes, home, recently added, drive.
So there were
Double tap to open.
There were some suggestions that maybe, it thinks I might want. Then it has recently added.
DirecTV, HBO Max, recently added folder, 8 apps. Double tap to open.
And then it actually says recently added folder, 8 apps. Now I want to be clear. These are not folders that I created. It's possible to create folders, and we're going to show you that. But that's not what we have here. What we have here are automatically created folders just in the app library. And there's one here called recently added, and it has 8 items in it. So the last 8 things that I installed show up there. All right, let's go on.
Social, messages, Facebook, phone, FaceTime, utilities, Safari, Find My, Speed Test, utilities folder, 21 apps. Double tap to open.
You can see that each of these categories has, apps in it, and then if there are more than just the 3 or 4 that they list there, you'll have an option for an automatically created folder, and it tells you how many apps are in that folder. Again, I want to stress, these are not folders that you can create or customize or anything like that. They are automatically grouped by how Apple feels they should be grouped based upon their App Store category or what have you. You can create your own folders, and we will talk about that, but that's not what this is. And these categories are not changeable either. Not by the user.
Productivity and finance, mail, no Zoom, files, productivity and finance folder, 22 apps.
And again,
double tap to open.
There's a folder.
Mail, no.
So now if we go to the very top again.
Other folder, app library, search field.
And we double tap on this.
App library, search field. Use the rotor to access misspelled words. Cancel.
We now have an edit field, and we can type what we're looking for. But I want to swipe to the right, and I want to show you something that's really cool.
Cancel button.
Inside this search field, keep swiping right.
Section index adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
And you remember what a section index is, right? It's where you have a long list of things, and you can directly move letter by letter in the list of, in this case, all the apps on your device. We've seen it in contacts, for example. All right, so what is this list? It's the list of every app installed on your device alphabetically. See if we go to the right.
Abode. Amazon, Amazon Alexa, App Store, Apple Store, B, heading, logo, Baby Life 3D, backpack, Barclays US, Belted, Best Buy.
You get the idea. Alphabetical. So if I want to use the search index, the section index rather.
Section index.
Let's say I want to find an app. Oh, let's just say I want to find the Hulu app. We know that starts with H. Well, we're on the section index. We can swipe down.
B, C, D, E, F, G, H, selected.
Lift your finger and tap.
Hilton Honors, Hold, Home, Honeywell, HP, Hulu.
There it is. So, if you can imagine the possibilities here, you installed a bunch of apps, and you don't know what some of them are called or what page they're on, and you just don't know where they're at. Right now, you just can't seem to find them. You don't remember creating a folder, but maybe somehow they got put in a folder. All you know is you installed the app and you can't find it. Well, this is a great way to do so. You can easily look through every app you have alphabetically here in this app library. We mentioned before that it is possible for us to do these kinds of things too, like create folders and stuff like that, just not in the app library. So we're going to do it here on the home screen. We have all kinds of options if we go into that edit mode. And it is easy to use the rotor to get what we want. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to remove an app if you don't want it. And I'm not actually going to delete anything, but
Page 1 of 6. Page 2 of 6. Wolfram Alpha.
let's just
Double
pretend.
tap to open.
Let's just pretend that we want to remove this app. So we're going to long press it, double tap and hold.
Remove app button. Remove app, share app, edit home screen, dismiss context menu.
This one doesn't have all those custom actions like the Notes app did. But if I say remove app,
Edit, share app, remove app button. Alert, remove Wolfram Alpha. Removing from home screen will keep the app in your app library. Delete app button. Remove from home screen button. Cancel button.
if you well, you heard what it just said. If you simply remove the app from the home screen, it's going to just be relegated to the app library. It's still on your device. Why might you want to do this? Maybe you're trying to clean up the look of the home screen.
Cancel button.
And you don't want to create folders or anything, but there are just some apps that you just want to totally not see, but you do use them still on occasion. So that's where you'd remove the app from the home screen. Deleting the app will, of course, actually delete the app and all of its data. You can always re-download it for free from iCloud as long as the developer continues to make the app available. And so deleting is actually taking the app off of your device. Now I'm just going to hit cancel.
Cancel button.
Okay. All right, so that's deleting versus removing. You understand how to put things
Page 2 of 6.
in the app library. All right, the next thing we're going to begin exploring is the edit mode, where the apps are sort of jiggling and you can move apps around. And there are all sorts of things we can do here. So I'm just going to give you a few ideas and tell you how to rearrange apps and things of that nature. So let's start with
Wolfram Alpha.
just a random app. It doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and use that one again. And we'll long press.
Wolfram Alpha. Double tap. Alert. Allow Wolfram map.
Whoops, I accidentally opened it.
Feature per site. Allow while using app.
That's okay.
Wolfram Alpha. Text field is edit. Star. Fandango. Page 2. Wolfram Alpha. Double tap to open. Wolfram
Okay.
Alpha. Wolfram Alpha. Text. WA Compute 7.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Double tap to open. Remove app.
There we go.
Button.
Okay.
Edit home screen.
We're going to say edit home screen this time.
Started editing.
All right. Now, if I tap on any app here, you notice
Numbers is editing. Pages is editing. iMovie is editing. Character mode. Double tap and hold to perform move by hold and drag. Actions available.
everything says is editing. And at the very top of the screen,
File done button.
there's a done button. And to the left of it,
Add widget button.
an add widget button. So we can add widgets to any page and move them to any location on a page.
Add widget button.
Okay.
Done. But files. Find my file. Files.
I don't know what it said there.
Find shortcuts.
All right.
iTunes Store.
What it did
Double
was,
tap to open.
after a period of time, the edit mode times out automatically, and you're back to just your regular home screen. And that's what happened. I was talking, and it ended the edit session, but we can get back into it. That's not a problem. So I'm going to decide. I'm going to move something. Let me see.
Fandango. Start Wolfram Alpha.
Nothing on this page.
Double page 2 of 6. Edge page 5 of 6.
All right,
Double tap to open.
She already has a folder created, so we're going to move something into it. Let's go back to this other page here.
Back soundboard. Page 6 of page. Hair Salon 2. Toca World. My UPMC.
All right, so we'll put... All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start out by moving one of these, and I want to show you the other way to get into edit mode this time. Remember, using the rotor instead of long pressing.
Toca World.
You can just swipe down or up.
Edit mode.
Now double tap.
Started editing.
Same thing. Okay, so we tap on the first icon that we want to move.
Hair Salon 2 is editing.
Now,
Double tap and hold to perform move by hold and drag. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
you could double tap and hold to move by hold and drag, but if we can't see, sometimes that's a bit tricky. So the rotor contains everything we'll ever need here. Let's look at what's in the rotor. Swipe up or down.
Stop editing apps. Activate default edit mode.
Okay, it did it again.
Hair Salon 2, delete. Drag Hair Salon 2, activate default. Stop editing apps, delete. Drag Hair Salon 2, activate default.
See, we could delete it, stop editing. Let's choose drag.
Stop edit, delete. Drag Hair Salon 2.
Double tap.
Toca World. Hair Salon. Stop at delete. Drag Hair Salon 2.
You know what? VoiceOver may have to be turned off and back on. It's acting a little weird, and that may be because I'm on this Zoom call. Let's just try this, guys. I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay.
Stop delete. Drag Hair Salon 2. Sound touch is edited.
Okay, it worked that time. You heard a little 3 rising tone sound. And now what we're going to do is we're going to find another app.
Page 5. Toca World is editing. Double stop editing apps. Add to drag session.
And we're going to add that to the drag session. I just swiped down. We're going to double tap on add to drag session.
Dragging 2 items.
All right. We're going to go to another page.
Page 6 of 7.
We're going to find Kylie's Games.
Soundboard. Backpacks. Kylie's Games folder is editing. 14 apps. 1 new item.
I'm going to
mode.
Swipe up or down.
Stop editing apps. Drop Toca World. Hair Salon 2 before Kylie's Games folder. Drop add Toca World. Hair Salon 2 to Kylie's Games folder. Drop ready. Cancel drag. Add Toca World. Drop Toca World. Hair Salon 2 after Kylie's Games folder.
So you can drop before or after, or you can add to a folder that you already have.
Add Toca World. Hair Salon 2 to Kylie's Games folder.
Now, if I were not already on a folder, it would let me create a folder, like
feedback is editing. Stop add to drag session. Drop Toca World. Drop Toca World. Create new folder with feedback and Toca World. Hair Salon 2. Drop
see,
ready.
We could create a new one, but we're going to use this one.
Kylie's Games. Stop it. Drop Toca. Add Toca World. Hair Salon 2 to Kylie's Games folder. Drop ready.
Double tap.
Drop complete. 16 apps. 1 new item.
And you heard that it now has 16 apps in that folder, which is correct because we added 2 apps to it.
Feed Kylie's Games folder is editing. 16 apps. 1 new item.
Also, while I'm in edit mode,
and hold to perform move by hold and drag.
If I double tap this folder,
opening Kylie's Games folder, Cookie Doodle, Soda is at Voice Plus is clear text button, folder name, Kylie's Games text field.
See?
Double tap to edit text field. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
The folder can even be renamed. Now to close this folder, we just swipe up like we're going home, or we can 2-finger scrub.
Closing Kylie's Games folder.
We'll go up.
Add widget. Done. Button.
And hit done.
Home-FEA0-
to finish editing. All right, so let's talk about what we just did here and some other things of interest. So what we did, to review, we found well, first we got into edit mode, which is either long press on any app and then choose edit home screen, or you can just swipe up or down with 1 finger and choose edit mode. Either way, it will work. Now, once you're in edit mode and the apps are jiggling, you find the first app that you want to move, and you tap on it to bring focus to it. Now, you move, you swipe up or down with 1 finger to get the rotor actions, and you'll have options like drag the app or delete, those kinds of things. We picked drag, and we double tapped.
Megan Kathleen.
The next thing we did was that we located the place where we wanted to put the app. We don't have to keep our finger held down. We don't have to do anything like that. All we have to do is normal navigation, just like
Zoom.
like you would normally.
Input you.
Sorry,
Do not disturb.
like you would normally navigate, right? Just swipe with one finger, or turn the page with the 3 fingers. Whatever. And when you find the app that you want to work with now, the app that you're already moving is going to either go next to this app, or whatever the case may be. When you find the second app, you swipe up or down with one finger. Now you can add that second app to the drag session, so you're actually dragging both apps. You can drop the first app before or after the second app. And you can even create a folder with both of those apps. And if you create a folder, it's going to give a default name to the folder, but I showed you where the edit field is. You can double tap in that edit field, and you can change the name of the folder to anything that you want. The other thing that we have is that we have widgets. Now, as I mentioned, widgets give you quick access to information, and if we go back to my home screen,
The survey. Siri suggested Mac rumors. Apple News and rumors. Siri suggestion. FaceTime.
it's still showing me that Siri suggestion. But this will change for me, because this is what's called a smart stack. Not all widgets will do this, but I have a smart stack, which is one of the choices when you add a widget. And what that does is it allows you to rotate through multiple widgets that, this is an automatic rotation when it's a smart stack, based upon whatever the system thinks is relevant at the time. So if there's rain or snow coming up in the next half hour to an hour, or the temperature is going to get significantly colder or warmer, whatever, maybe it will display the weather widget. Or just at the start of the day, maybe it will display the weather widget for me. Other times of the day, it may display the news widget. If there's something coming up in my calendar, it might display the calendar widget, or the reminders widget, or the clock widget, or it may display my maps so I can easily get directions to my next destination. If my battery on my phone or my Apple Watch is getting low, it might display the battery widget so that I'm aware of that, okay? And if there's nothing else to display, I also have photos, music, and TV in the widget stack as well, so maybe it'll display a memory for me to take a look at, in the Photos app, or the music widget so I can, resume playing the last thing I played. So this is the smart stack, and it's my favorite one because it automatically rotates through things that are relevant. Now, some people prefer to simply choose widgets that they want, and that's fine too. And you can add multiple widgets, and just like you can create folders, you can create stacks with multiple widgets. I can even add more widgets to this smart stack by simply putting them on top in the same way that I would add items to a folder using the rotor. To edit your widget settings, if you want to actually make changes to the widget itself, you need to long press on the widget. You're not going to find that in the rotor. You're not going to find it in edit mode. You have to long press.
Calendar. FaceTime. Siri suggestion. Mac rumors.
And if I want to manually go to a different widget, I can swipe up or down on it.
Next widget. Previous widget. Edit mode. Activate default.
All right, so I can actually change widgets in that way also. So that's just a little bit about widgets. I find them to be very, very useful. They are both on iPad and iPhone. You can have as many widgets as you want. You can have widgets in multiple locations, or even multiple pages can have widgets. I only have one, but it's as if I have 7 or 8 or however many are in this smart stack, because it automatically rotates through them. And so it allows me to get a lot of information without having to take up a lot of screen real estate. What starts to happen if you put multiple widgets on a page is that page gets filled up really quickly, and then the icons for your apps get pushed back a page, and that'll keep happening, as you create more widgets. But again, that's all personal preference. Some people may want that. Some people may want no widgets at all. You can remove widgets just like you remove apps. And when you remove widgets, you're not actually removing the app. You're just removing the widget. So you have a lot of flexibility here. And, I would encourage you to take a look at these because there's some really cool ones, and actually some third-party apps offer widgets as well. I really love them, and I would have actually taught that sooner, but I really didn't see a place to do it much earlier on, because I think that understanding how to move them and how to edit them and how to delete them and so on is very, very important when you're going to start working with widgets, because maybe you get something there you don't really want, or maybe you don't like how much space it's taking up, and so you want to have a smaller version of it. A lot of these widgets come in like 3 different sizes, and so you can add whichever one you want. And of course, the information available will change slightly. Maybe if you have a weather widget, for example, your small widget is only going to show the current temperature and conditions, and then the medium one maybe will show the forecast for the day, and maybe the large one will show the 10-day forecast or something. I don't really know, but I'm just giving that as an example. That kind of thing happens when you change the size. Again, you can delete widgets just like you delete apps. Basically, everything you can do with your apps, you can do with your widgets. There's one kind of reordering that we didn't show you, and it has nothing to do with apps. It has to do with items in a list. And this is how the mailboxes get reordered, and this is how items in the rotor get reordered. You can actually double tap, hold, and drag on certain reorder handles. So if I go into, let's just do this through VoiceOver rotor settings, because why not?
Series settings. Set homes do not disturb except home accessibility provision. Voiceover verbosity voiceover audio command active rotor button selected settings characters.
All right, if I want
selected reorder word selected lines selected text selection.
Let's say I want to move
up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. Reorder text selection button draggable. Double tap and hold. Wait for the sound, then drag to rearrange. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's say I want to move text selection up above words. I'll double tap and hold and wait for the sound, and then start sliding my finger, dragging my finger up. And when I get to the place that it's supposed to be, I'll lift my finger. Let's listen. Ready?
Moved above words.
Okay, and I let go.
Button.
I let go.
Selected lines. Reorder words. Selected words. Reorder text selection. Selected text selection.
There, see how easy that was? Now, I don't really want it there. I want it back down below lines, so I'm going to move it back down, and I'm going to show you an alternative method of doing it this time. If you don't like doing it that way, if that's not precise enough for you, because that is something that, you kind of have to get used to, you can do it with the rotor.
Reorder text selection. Button.
So,
draggable.
I can swipe down.
Move up, move down, activate, default, move up, move down.
So,
move below words, reorder words, reorder text selection, move up, move down, moved below lines, reorder lines.
And that's button, where I wanted it. So that's another way to move things, okay? The process of dragging items to reorder them like we just did using those reorder handles. It is very important that you have some patience with this and that you give it a try before you really, really need it. It takes practice. As you see, I didn't have issues with it, praise God. But you do need to spend some time getting used to how much you need to move your finger. And remember that with VoiceOver, if you tap once to bring focus to an item, with the VoiceOver cursor, your double taps can be then anywhere on the screen once you've selected that item. So that's helpful when reordering because, for example, if I want to move something, I can tap once on the reorder handle to bring focus to it. Then I can bring my finger way down to the bottom of the screen and I can double tap and hold and start dragging up. That way I have a lot more room to move my finger. So it's possible to, to do things like that to make things a little bit easier. And again, if you're not comfortable doing it with the drag method, you always have the rotor. Move up and move down. We're clearly in the rotor there. So this is a very useful tool. And just wanted to point that out. We want to thank you for joining us today. God bless you, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.